I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would everybody please rise? Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Township of Albridge Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting August 15th, 2024. I have to read in the Open Public Meeting Act, and I have a copy, but I didn't have it prepared. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Albridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting by prominently posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, the date, the location, and the agenda of this meeting. Also by mailing such announcement to the Home News and Tribune, finally by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. It's also posted on the municipal website, should you ever want to look. Township of Albridge Zoning Board of Adjustment. You can find the agenda. Having said that, may we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Ms. Andrews? Here. Ms. Chevalier?
Here.
Mr. Izzo?
Here.
Mr. Scogno? Absent. Mr. Stoner?
Here.
Ms. Testaverde? Absent. Mr. Victoria? Absent. Mr. Singh? Absent. Chairman Sullivan?
Here. So I note that we have 5 members seated tonight. I don't think that's a problem because our issues are not use variances. For just a little housekeeping, this meeting is being televised live on CATV 15. They replay it at certain times during the following weeks. It's also simultaneously being shown on YouTube Live, and you can also find it there at a later date should you need to review the meeting. I would ask everyone in the courtroom, if you have a cell phone, and I'm sure we all do, please silence it at this time so it's not picked up by the TV or it doesn't interfere with any testimony. Having said that, we'll move on to the agenda board. This is the minutes of July 18th, 2024 meeting. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to look at them. Absent any comments, suggestions for additions or deletions, I'd ask someone to move them for memorialization.
Chevalier will move it.
Is there a second?
Second, Stoner.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews? Yes. Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Item 4 tonight is resolutions 44-2023Z, MCB Landscaping. It was a bifurcated D variance, and the application was denied. We have a resolution. Jeff Cheney is of counsel to the board tonight. Mr. Cheney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution denying application for D1 and bulk variance relief of MCB Landscaping LLC for 4244 Highway 516, Old Bridge known as Block 11257, Lot 4. Application proposes the addition of a commercial landscaping use and a second principal structure, a 2,400 square foot pole barn on the property. The property is located in the R20 low-medium density residential zone, which does not permit the use of property for a landscaping business and does not permit a second principal structure on a lot, necessitating D1 variance relief. In support of the application, the applicant offered testimony of business owner Mark C. Boyko, Kate Keller, PP, and John H. Ray, PE. Business owner Mark Boyko testified they seek the variance to install a 60 by 40 pole barn for use by the landscaping business. The matter was open to the public. Alan Gorski, Esquire, spoke on behalf of the condominium association located at the rear of the property. Robert Vernacchio testified that the applicant's proposed use is too intensive a use for the residential area, and Jonathan Kozlik testified that the proposed conditions are not viable and that the nearby residential properties are also long and narrow, thus the property is not unique. Ultimately, the board determined the applicant did not prove that its proposed use is an inherently beneficial use under the municipal land use law. For the applicant, it failed to establish that the site is particularly suited to the proposed use. Moreover, the applicant failed to establish that the proposed use is not, in fact, does not in fact advance the purposes of the municipal land use law, and the applicant further failed to establish that the relief could be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantially impairing the intent of the master plan and zoning ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney. Board members, you've heard the resolution. Would someone move it for adoption, please?
Chevalier will move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. At this time, Mr. Cheney, I'd ask you to swear in our one professional tonight, Mr. Dan Holohan.
Mr. Holland, do you solemnly swear us the truth of the testimony for which you're about to provide?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll move on to applications. It's item number 6, as it's on the agenda. The first one is 79-2023Z. This matter has been adjourned to November 7th without further notice. It's Barbara Robinson Ramirez. The location is Block 12283, Lot 85. Physical location, 85 Bennett Road in Old Bridge. That's for a deck. The deck is outside the side yard where property line where 10 is required. Once again, that matter has been adjourned. November 7th, it will be on the agenda without further notice. If you're here on that matter tonight, it's not going to be heard. That brings us to our first one that we will hear tonight. It's 40-2023Z. It's Heidi Gross. This is in the medium-high density R5 zone. This is Block 25, Lot 615, physical location 615 Greenwood Avenue in the Lawrence Harbor. This multiple C variances for 2 sheds and a deck. Applicant proposes to legitimize a 12 by 12 and a 12 by 16 shed, as well as a 13 by 13 by 4 deck. Would you be Ms. Gross? Before you sit, I'm going to ask the board attorney to swear you in. Are you going to be the only one to testify? Is the other lady going to, just you? Okay.
And Ms. Gross, just for the record, do you live at 615 Greenwood Avenue? Is residential? Okay, thank you. Just raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear us the truth of the testimony for which you're about to provide? Thank you.
You can be seated. Ma'am, there's a button on the front end of that microphone. If you push it after you sit down, it should turn green. Okay. Yes. Move it closer to you because it's a directional mic. There you go. It's perfect. We know that you have an application to legitimize some sheds on the property and a deck. When private individuals or homeowners come in, this is a judicial process, but it's let's say, a lot easier for a homeowner to move a variance than it is for a commercial entity where they might have professionals. You're here representing yourself. The board recognizes that. The board members are made up of homeowners here in town as well, volunteer homeowners. So what we need you to do is put some certain things on the record. You have to tell us why you're here, first of all. Obviously, we know, but what happened, how did that happen without you getting some advice? And we'll go to the professional, Mr. Holohan. He's going to tell us why it's a violation of the ordinance. You may have some questions of us. We may have some questions of you. I have to open a public portion after that to see if anyone here wants to speak on behalf or against the proposed variance. After that is finalized, I'm going to come back to you for final words, and then I'm going to ask if you want to take a vote. The reason we do that is because if you feel that you haven't made a good presentation and you think that the board may not be going to vote in your favor, you could ask me for a continuance, and the board would probably grant that, and it would give you time to probably prepare a little bit better. But short of that, you will have the right to a vote. And tonight, you would need a plurality of the votes. So there's 5 members, so you would need 3 positive votes, just so you understand the proceedings, okay? So at your own pace and your own words, and do you have anything other than a survey that we've already seen? You have no pictures or anything you're going to show us? No examples?
No, I've sent them all in.
That's fine, okay. Proceed at your own pace then.
Okay. I inherited the home 1992. Everything was there before I came. I inherited it, and I have not ever had a problem. I really don't see a problem. I don't really know what to say, but I've had a lot of problem with the next door neighbor next door to me. So he is the one who has complained about my sheds because there's a situation with him, and I'm having a lot of situation with him. I'm really...
All right, Mr. Holohan, did he explain to you that what's going on, that they're probably I'm assuming that they're too close to the fence?
Yes,
And you said 1992 you inherited this home?
yes,
And you're under oath, and you said that these were just the way that they were when you inherited the home?
yeah. I didn't put no...
So you haven't
sheds.
moved anything, you haven't added anything, you
No.
haven't deleted anything?
No.
Okay.
Didn't delete. I mean...
Well, deleting would probably be okay.
They're starting to look old, but,
You haven't moved anything or added?
No.
Okay. Let me ask Mr. Holohan to go on the record, and he'll tell us why it's a violation.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Holohan?
Yeah, so this application for 16 feet, 615 Greenwood contemplates three separate C variances from the survey that you guys have seen. The 12 by 16 shed on the top left of the survey is a shed in question for those variances. The rear yard requirement is 10 feet, as is the side yard requirement, where the rear yard exists at 5.70 feet and the side yard exists at 5 feet. The third variance that the applicant is requesting is for the side yard setback for the existing deck, which is required at 11 feet where it exists at 10 feet. Kind of to maybe alliterate more on what Heidi was saying, as far as I've seen through aerial images, these structures have existed at least 2014, because that's as far as my system goes, possibly further. But yeah, so she's requesting three separate C variances. The shed in the top right, although closer to the property lines, is under 150 square feet, so those setbacks are reduced to 3 feet. So that shed is not in question for this application. That one is a conforming shed.
So there's only two variances
It would be three, actually. So for the shed in the top left, it's a rear yard setback
and a side yard,
and a side yard, and then for the deck, just a side yard.
and just a side yard on the deck.
Yes,
It's at 11 and, I'm sorry, it's 11 required and it's at 10?
that's correct, Chairman.
Okay, and if I have the numbers right on the other one, the side yard is, should be 10 and it's at 5.7?
That's correct.
And then the side yard, 5, and what was that at?
The side yard is existing at 5 feet where 10 feet is required.
Okay, also.
And the rear yard is existing at 5.70 feet where 10 feet is required.
Just want to make sure Mr. Cheney has that as well. Okay. Let me see if the board members have any questions of you. I'm going to start on my left, Mr. Rizzo.
Not really. If this was here, and we're just going to try and finalize it. I'm good.
Mr. Stoner? Okay.
You didn't add the deck on, right? It was there
No,
still? Everything?
Everything was there.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Ms. Andrews, anything? All right. And you appear, you say, Mr. Holland, that your records, that you could see that has been there since 2014 at least.
Correct, yes, and probably before that. We've seen a couple of properties in this area born of similar complaints that have been in front of this board as well, so.
Yes, and I'm familiar with them as well.
Yep.
You have anything else you want to add? Because I'm going to ask the attorney if he has any questions of you.
No, not really.
Mr. Cheney, it's got to fall under a C1 or a C2, and I don't know that it's a hardship, or I guess it would be a hardship and not a, it's nothing unique about the property, I don't think.
Well, obviously, looking at it, it looks to be a very square property, but I do want to, provide you the opportunity to at least, comment on that. So is there anything specific about the property, for example, anything about the shape of it that might necessitate you needing these variances? For example,
And I-
sometimes you have a very oddly shaped property, and
No,
we see that the square property.
Yeah, it's up, you can see your property
Yeah,
right there.
that one's clearer for me. Yeah, no, they're all right there. I
Would
mean,
moving them create a financial hardship to you?
It would. Right now, I don't have a job. I just lost my job after 33 years.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And would moving them actually interrupt the usage of the yard?
It would. It would make it a lot smaller in,
Are they, what, are they just sitting on 2x4s or 4x4s?
I have not physically been out to the site, so I'm not entirely sure. Heidi, do they sit maybe on like concrete pads, or are they just flat on the ground or on gravel?
one is on a concrete
Okay,
pad, and the other, let me think, no.
the other one just kind of sits on the
Yeah,
ground?
it's-
Okay.
It's on the ground.
Yeah, so the shed in question is the one that sits on the concrete pad.
Okay.
And from a topographical standpoint, essentially, is there like the grade of the property? Is it flat grade in the rear? Is there any
Yeah,
like,
it's mostly,
drainage issues?
it's mostly flat. Yeah, yeah. It's grass all
All
around.
grass other than
Yeah.
what they sit on, right? The
Yeah.
one has a pad.
Yeah, this one.
And if, obviously, if the variance were granted, that, how would you use these sheds? How are you currently using these sheds?
How do what?
How are you currently using these sheds?
I have, well, I have all my stuff in there that I can't fit in my little house. That and my lawnmower and my trimming stuff and holiday stuff and stuff like that.
So the
Storage, sorry.
storage only, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, storage only.
They're not used for recreational purposes?
No.
Not renting them out, not for commercial purposes or anything like
No.
that?
Is that, and that's the way you found them when you inherited this home?
Yes.
So anything in
And now
there
it's
is
got more of
your-
my stuff.
your personal belongings, you don't run any kind of business out of it?
No,
out of-
no.
Okay.
And you use the deck for enjoyment, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I sit out there. That's the only place I could really sit out.
Okay.
Let me go to a public portion, and we'll see if anybody has anything to say about this, all right? This is matter 40-23Z, the location's 615 Greenwood Avenue, Lawrence Harbor. Anyone want to be heard in this matter, please raise your hand or stand. Last chance. I'll close the public portion. Mr. Cheney, it would seem that the woman inherited something that I guess was done either, how long ago was that home owned by your family or whoever you inherited it from?
1961.
Okay, so it would probably be pre-zoning issues?
Yeah, if I can determine it was pre-1973, it would be a pre-existing non-conforming.
Okay, and you said that was owned by, I
Yeah,
assume,
my
family?
mom and dad, my family.
Okay,
Okay.
and it was from 1961?
Yeah, 1961 they purchased it, and
Did you ever live there as a
yeah,
child?
yeah.
Did your father put those sheds in?
My dad and my uncle.
Okay.
And
When you were a
also-
child?
Also the deck when I was little.
So they've been there a long time?
Yeah, I'm 62 now, so it's been there.
Okay, you didn't have to give your age.
That's it. Don't bother me. It don't bother me.
Well, I don't have anybody that's standing opposed to your application for variance. I don't hear any of the board members complaining. It was nice that you inherited the home. Unfortunately, a lot of these, and a lot of what Mr. Hollihan was alluding to, a lot of the properties down in Lawrence Harbor there, because of their small-sized lots, a lot of these violations occurred. But in your condition, and in your situation, I should say, this happened prior to zoning ordinance. So I think it would be, personally, I would think it'd be unfair to make you move those at this point, after all those years, which you didn't even put in, but
Yeah.
at this point, you're just using for your own storage.
Yeah.
Mr. Cheney, would we fall under a hardship here, or just, it would have to be, I guess? Would be a hardship and a cost for you to move those?
Yeah, certainly, but I think to an extent that also kind of both could apply in a way here. Certainly under the C2, under the classic benefits versus burdens, I think this, given what has been provided for testimony, could fall into that as well, and probably fits better concerning what was provided regarding the shape of the property.
Right, and pre-existing nonconformity prior to zoning.
And that
laws.
certainly can be considered as advancing, the purposes of the municipal land use law. In terms of, this is a residential property, correct, ma'am? And
Yes.
residential property, and it's using it, you're trying to live there and enjoy the backyard, right?
Yeah.
Any other comments from the board?
No?
Ms. Andrews, any comments? Nothing, thank you. I'm going to ask you if you'd like me to take a vote.
If what?
You would like me to take a vote on this matter?
Yes, please.
Okay. Board, obviously, there's 3 Cs, right? 3 Cs.
Correct, 3.
Side yard, side rear yard, right? And side yard deck.
Side yard deck, side yard for the shed, rear yard for the shed. Yep.
Okay, good with that, Mr. Cheney?
Yes.
Okay. Someone interested in moving this for approval?
Chevalier, I'll move it for approval.
Izzo, a second.
It's been moved in second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes, I wish you the best on your home there, and
Thank you very much.
obviously, we can't do anything about your neighbor problems, but I hope you can get along peacefully.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for appearing before the board. By next month, you'll have a resolution for the approval. All right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep, you feel free to leave or stay if you'd like to watch the rest of the meeting.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right, next application is 20-2024Z. Jason Focarino, it's medium high density residential R6. This is at block 18009, lot 39. Physical location 63 Pearsall Road, Old Bridge. Design waiver for a second driveway. Applicant proposes to legitimize a 16 by 38 38-foot, 7-inch second driveway. Mr. Focarino, you're going to be the only one to testify? Okay, and you have any exhibits for us? Okay, we have everything you're going to say. You can take a seat and the board attorney will swear you in. Please make sure that, push the button on that microphone so it's green. It looks red up here.
There you
There you go. Again, it's directional, so you have to stay close to it.
Sir, can you raise your right hand, please? Sure. Do you solemnly swear as to the truth of the testimony for which you're about to provide? I do. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Focarino, you heard me speak to the first applicant, and it applies to everyone tonight. That's, you're represented by yourselves. I don't see any professionals here that at least I recognize, so everyone's going to do this on their own. Once again, the board needs to hear certain things put on the record as to why you're here before us. Again, we'll go to Mr. Holohan. He's going to explain the ordinance. The board may have questions, and I'll, of course, have to do a public portion. Once again, you'll get the final choice on whether you want me to take a vote tonight. No problem. You can proceed at your own pace, sir. Remind you that you're under oath.
Basically, I had a garage built. I had all the permits. Everything was good. Approved everything. I followed everything right, made sure everything was good. And then I had a driveway put in the width of the garage door to the street. I didn't realize I needed a permit for the driveway. I assumed when I got the permit for the building, because I said, hey, I was going to build the garage, you would do a driveway also. And now here we are.
That would be not the driveway that's attached to the house, but the driveway.
No, yes.
The driveway that
separate
sits
to the garage,
right.
to the building I had built.
Right. It's a standard driveway that you have
Yes,
normally, and then further to the south or west, I guess, a little
yes,
bit.
yes,
You have that other garage and
yes,
sidewalk. That's what you're referring to.
yes, yes.
Anything else you want to tell us right now? I don't know how many people visit. I've seen your house on Google, and I took a ride by, and I see what we're speaking about here. So, Mr. Holohan.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, so the applicant here tonight is seeking a design waiver, I think essentially it would be called. So our ordinance permits one driveway for every 200 linear feet of frontage along a road. The applicant currently had an existing blacktop driveway as is noted on the survey, and along Pearsall Road, he has 87.5 feet of frontage along that road. Therefore requiring a design waiver for a second access point to the lot. I believe the applicant is correct that the pole barn was constructed with proper permits. I do recall reviewing the application. I did not recall any kind of driveway or access on that application, but essentially when that pole barn was installed, there was also a driveway to access that pole barn that was installed as well. I believe the curb was cut along the township right-of-way, so the applicant is here tonight seeking that design waiver for the installation of the second driveway.
Do you know if when the permit allowed for a driveway and a curb cut, or just the building? It would only apply to the building, but I guess were the plans, do you know?
Correct. From what I recall from the plans, it was only for the pole barn, the structure itself, and not any driveways. Yep.
That was my fault. When I originally did it, I said it, but I guess I didn't realize I needed to permit separate.
Well, it's okay. We know what it's for, and again, I say it's set to the roadway.
Yeah.
That's probably what you would use it for
Yes.
bringing vehicles in. That is what you use it for, right? Not that.
It's just storage. I have a couple classic cars I store in there, and that's it.
All right. So the only problem is here you made a roadway cut too far.
Yes, yes.
Board members on my left, Mr. Rizzo,
I'm good.
Mr. Stoner.
I just have a quick question for you. When did you realize you needed a permit?
I honestly didn't know until somebody showed up at my house and knocked on my door and said, hey, you don't have a permit for that. And I said, oh, I didn't realize I needed one.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Okay.
So as soon as I found that out, I went down to the township and I filled out for everything I needed, but here we are.
Vice Chair Chevalier?
Yeah, is there any other way to access this pole barn?
If I drive over my grass, yeah.
No, I think she meant entranceways, right?
Entranceway.
Oh,
A side door or something. I'm
well,
assuming.
and there's a side door in the backyard, yes, behind the,
Obviously, you
behind
can't
the
pull
fence.
anything in. You would pull it in at the
Yeah. But it's a regular, door.
Ms.
Door,
Andrews?
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a normal,
Yeah, that's, I
roll-up.
just,
Yeah, 36-inch, yeah.
Yeah, they do that so people don't go, and I'm sure had you known, I'm assuming, you would have done that at the
Oh,
time.
absolutely. That's why I filled out all the permits for the building. I made sure everything was good. That way, if I knew I needed a permit for the driveway and the curb cut, I absolutely would have filled that out also.
It would make sense.
Yes.
Mr. Cheney?
I mean, obviously, with the design waiver, it's certainly different from C variance.
Right.
Kind of just going through. Obviously, sir, you said that you said that you store vehicles that in it. And from an access standpoint, obviously, you said you would have to, for example, if you were in your existing driveway, you would have to drive over your lawn
Yeah,
to get
there's-
into the new garage.
Yes.
Just trying to think if there's any store anything else besides vehicles.
Lawnmower?
Okay, all stuff related to your home or hobbies, nothing commercial.
Honestly, I try just to keep everything away from the cars.
Understood. Nothing further from me.
Okay, thanks. That says it all. Keep everything away from the cars, right? All right, do you have any final comments, sir?
Nope.
All right, let me see if there's any public on this matter. This is 20-2024Z. This is 63 Pierce Hill Road. Does anyone want to be heard on this matter? Please raise your hand or stand. No one has. I'll close the public portion. Any final comments, sir, other than what you've told us? All right, it would seem that you were trying in spirit, I would think, to follow the letter of the law, or at least the ordinances. And I think you did probably the right thing. You went and got a permit and billed and probably thought maybe that was all included.
Yes.
So at your own expense, you put in pavement and a driveway cut so both of those vehicles could get out at the same time. That pretty much it?
Yep.
Okay, I personally don't see any fault in that, and I think it's certainly the board's power to issue a design waiver should they vote in your favor. You need 3 of the 5 votes. You understand that?
Yep.
Would you like me to take a vote?
Yes.
Okay. Someone want to move this matter for approval? This is for a design waiver for the driveway.
Mr. Izzo?
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, seconds? Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Thank you for appearing before the board. The approval will be, does he need any permits?
He would just, once you get the resolution, just come back to my office, give me a copy of that. That way I can change the denial of the application to the approval. The only other permit that you do require would be for that curb opening, which would be a right-of-way permit through the engineering department. So just make sure you get that, even though the work's already been done, just so that we have that on record that the work was done. Okay?
Thank you. We'd appreciate it if you comply with that, and thank you for appearing before the board.
Thank you.
And so just so you know, that resolutions will be memorialized at the next meeting. So that's when you'll be provided a signed copy of that, okay?
All right. Thank you.
That'll be beginning of September.
Okay.
All right. All right. Our third and final application for the evening is 25-2024Z, Santino Barone. This is a medium-high density R6 zone, block 216, lot 8, 19 Boulevard East, Keyport address, a driveway walkway. This is also going to be design waiver. Applicant proposes 8.5 by 25 driveway expansion to an existing 11 by 25 driveway. Mr. Barone? Please be seated.
Thank you.
Board attorney will swear you in, okay? Once you sit. Thanks.
Good evening, sir. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear as to the truth of the testimony for which you're about to provide?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're batting cleanup. You're the last one, so you know the ropes. I don't have to
Yes,
tell
sir.
you. Tell
Yes,
us
sir.
tell us what you want, what we need to hear.
I currently have a one-car driveway. It's cracked up blacktop. I'd like to expand it, get rid of like a patch of grass on the side to make it a two-car, and to expand the walkway down to the curb. To the
Your
sidewalk.
house is typical of those homes on a boulevard where there's a
Yes.
carport and,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Now, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry
No,
to interrupt.
I just wanted to make sure, because
I've noticed a lot of houses in that area did that, turned the one car into a two-car, got rid of that patch of grass, and I just noticed it and I liked it. And
as a matter of fact, I looked on Google Earth, and I think straight ahead of you, they did it.
I think I'm
To
the
you,
only
to the
house-
right of your house, they did it, and most of
I think
the
I'm
houses
one of
in
the
that,
only houses
in that,
in the neighborhood that doesn't
in
have
the
it.
neighborhood that
Yeah.
does not have
Yeah.
this, that no longer has just a single car.
Yes.
All right, we pretty much know that area and we know what happened. Let me find out legally what's going on here. Mr. Holohan.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, so the applicant is here tonight seeking one single design waiver for the expansion of an existing driveway that's proposed 0 feet from the property line where 5 feet is required. As it pertains to the existing sidewalk, to kind of bring that down to the property line, that is not made part of this application. There are no variances required for that. So just a single design waiver for the driveway setback.
Can you, and of course, you know, whatever you're going to put on the record is what you're going to be able to do. You couldn't go beyond what you're going to tell us.
Yes.
You understand that,
I
right?
understand.
Let me see if any of the board members have any questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rizzo.
No, not at all.
Mr. Stoner.
No.
Vice Chair? Nope. Ms. Andrews? Yeah, as I said, that's typical of all those builds down there where they put a carport, entranceway to the home on the front left, front left as you come up that short driveway.
Yes.
And I see that most of them have all, and done a nice job, I might add. They've
Yes,
made the
they look
property.
very nice. Yeah.
They've made them look nice. This is only for design waivers, Mr. Cheney. I would think that the board certainly has jurisdiction to.
Yeah, certainly, and obviously, you know, it's fairly cut and dry here.
Yes.
Obviously, it's been done in the neighborhood. Obviously, you agree it lets you park multiple cars, makes it easier, makes it easier pulling out, gives you just more efficient enjoyment of your home as well. Yeah.
And a better walkway for people to access
Yes,
your home.
that walkway, it's because you have to walk on the grass to
Right.
get to the, Now the
and
walkway
cleans it
would
up.
go all the way down to the sidewalk.
Okay, so to,
Replaces the cracked driveway as well, right?
Yes, yes.
That's a big thing. It helps with
huge,
the
yes.
aesthetics, right?
Yes.
it makes an improvement on your property and certainly the value as well, I would
Yes,
guess.
sir.
All right, you want me to take a vote, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, well, yeah, there is one person here, otherwise I was going to say there's nobody. We do have to open up a public portion. If there's anyone wants to be heard on this matter, this is 19 Boulevard East in Keyport for driveway, walkway expansion. Anyone interested, please stand or raise your hand. No one has, I'll close the public portion. You have no final comments, right?
No, sir.
Any final comments from the board or questions? Someone want to move this for approval? Is there a second?
Izzo?
Moved in second. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes?
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yeah, it's great when people do home improvement and they make their properties look better, and once again, it increases the value for you, it increases the value for the township as well. Everybody's a winner on that. My vote is yes, and you'll get a resolution by the next meeting. Make sure you apply for all permits.
So I'm sorry, when you say resolution,
Well, resolution means it's actually a piece of paper that gives the approval that you have to turn into Mr. Holohan, and then he can clear the record to say that you're not in violation.
so I can't start work until I get that?
Consult with
So once
Mr.
your resolution is voted on, memorialized at the next meeting, Maureen, you will supply him with a copy of it. Once you get a copy of that resolution, submit it back with the building department where you originally dropped off the permit. That way I have a chance to review it, and then based on the board's recommendation to approve it, then I can issue you an approval. So you're probably figuring, when's the next meeting?
September 5th is the
Two-
next
it-
meeting.
September 5th?
It's 2 weeks away.
Okay, so about 2 weeks.
So, okay, thank you.
All right? You got it.
I think September, what are we, September 5th? So we have a meeting on September 5th. It would happen that night.
Okay.
All right.
Do I come to that meeting?
You don't need to come. If you'd like to, come on down. We're always looking for more guests. We got plenty of seats.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for appearing.
Have a nice night.
Sometimes, yeah. General public comments. Ma'am, would you like to be heard before the board? Okay, okay, all right. Well, you come back on September 5th, we'll save you a seat. All right. Seeing no one else in the public, I'll close the general public comments for this evening. Board, Mr. Cheney, anything from legal end that you'd like to tell us?
Nothing on the legal end, and just look forward to, working with you guys some more.
Yes, Mr. Hollihan, anything?
I got nothing, Chairman.
Okay. Any board members? No? Maureen? Next meeting is?
September 5th.
Okay. I wish everybody healthy, happy. It's the last holiday of the season. It will be Labor Day. Please be careful, safe. We'll be back on that Thursday. Someone move for adjournment, please. Move it. All in favor? Any opposed? We stand adjourned.